Welcome back to Kevin All Over the World in the new kitchen. I'm not going to show you most of it because I'm still unpacking a whole bunch of stuff, and there's a whole wall that I plan to do a lot with, and you'll see. Let me know in the comments if you want to see a tour when it's all complete. But on with the recipe. Today I'm going to be making a roasted salmon dish from Chile called Cancato. So this is going to be a very quick and simple recipe. Here I've got about 1 kilo of salmon cut into 2 fillets. You can cut this smaller if you want, but I'm going to go in whole and then divide it once it's cooked. I'm going to place this in a bowl, and I'm going to very simply marinate it with some lemon juice. Don't worry if the seeds get in there, because it's just a marinade. And I'm going to scoop a little of the juice on top, just to make sure every surface is touched. I've got 3 cloves of sliced garlic. I'm just going to spread that out once again so all of my fish is covered. And I'm going to go ahead and season with a little bit of salt, not too much. Those 3 pinches, probably a ½ teaspoon in total. And I'm going to coat liberally with some black pepper. Freshly ground, of course. And I'm just going to cover this up with some plastic wrap. I'm going to throw it in my fridge for at least an hour. After about 40 minutes, let's go ahead and preheat our oven to 180 Celsius or about 360 Fahrenheit. And now that an hour has passed, I'm going to take the salmon out of the fridge. Now into an oven-safe container, I'm going to create a layer of sliced onions. Make sure to spread them out evenly so that the entire surface of the vessel is covered. And don't make it too thick of a layer. You don't want stewed onions, you want more crispy, sort of baked onions. And on top of the onions, I'm gonna take our salmon and layer it. This pan could go either way, either lengthwise or crosswise. I'm gonna go across so that the sides get roasted. And I'm leaving the garlic cloves on top just for some extra flavor. But feel free to remove those if you want. I'm just a huge fan of garlic. Of course, if you see any lemon seeds, go ahead and pluck those off. Don't want to bite into one of those. Now, on top of this salmon, which is a fish, we're gonna layer some cheese. In this case, I've got Gruyere, which I'm gonna thinly slice. But if you have access to Chilean queso de fundo, then go ahead and use that. You could also use any sort of melty, mild cheese. Gruyere doesn't really have too strong of a flavor. It's a little bit sharp, not too rich, so it should pair nicely with the salmon. On top of that, I have a few tomatoes that I'm gonna slice. Try and get these as thin as you can. I know it's hard to slice tomatoes thinly, especially this late in an episode when your knife has already cut various other ingredients, but do what you can. I can fit about 3 slices per fillet. On top of that, I'm going to layer some sausage. I have here chorizo, but traditionally you'd use Longaniza. They are fairly interchangeable, although chorizo has a lot more paprika flavor to it. So this will affect the dish slightly. Not in a bad way though, so, you know, feel free if you can't source Longaniza. And I can fit about 4 slices per side here. Try and go as thin as you can. I'm trading out a few thicker pieces for some of my thinner pieces. You want it to crisp up nicely, and you don't want to have to really bite through a piece of thick cut salami. And on top of that, I'm gonna take some fresh oregano. I'm using fresh. You can use dried and just sprinkle on a little bit. Then I'm gonna top it with some more freshly cracked black pepper and a few pinches of salt, just a little bit down the length. I'm gonna go ahead and cover this up with some tin foil. I'm gonna poke some holes for steam to get out. We wanna bake the fish, not steam the fish. And I'm gonna throw this into our preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes. So 20 minutes have passed. So I'm gonna take my salmon out of the oven, carefully peel back our tin foil. Looks pretty good. Now the recipe says deglaze with white wine. Just realized this is Pyrex. Hopefully it doesn't shatter with some cold white wine going into it. I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit. There's no real need for a deglaze because the onions haven't really crisped up under that tin foil. So I'm just gonna drizzle like, I don't know, all in all maybe a tablespoon underneath, just to create sort of broth. And I'm gonna do a little bit on top. I'm gonna do like the Japanese sushi rice style ladling. So at this point, I'm going to switch the oven to broil. And I'm gonna throw this back in under the broiler for 2 to 5 minutes until all of that awesome salami gets crisped up. So my apartment smells like pizza right now. So if I told you that I was gonna put cheese on fish, I'm guessing your reaction would be a little bit of confusion, a little bit of disgust. But to be honest, think of this as less of salmon with other ingredients on top of it and more of a pizza flavor profile with salmon. This is a different thing. I can get down with this, and I hope you can too. See you next time. Cheers.